Eric Dane, the chiseled heartthrob who captivated audiences as Dr. Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy and later as the enigmatic Captain Lexington Steele in Euphoria, has long embodied resilience on screen. Now, at 53, he confronts his most daunting role yet, living with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, a neurodegenerative beast diagnosed in April 2025 that has begun to erode his physical prowess while sharpening his resolve. In a virtual appearance for IAMLS.org, a non-profit championing ALS awareness and research, Dane stripped away the glamour to deliver a gut-wrenching update, one that lays bare the disease's cruel theft of autonomy and his fierce refusal to surrender his identity as an artist. "I have no reason to be in a good spirit at any time on any given day," Dane admitted, his voice, a once commanding baritone, now laced with the effort of enunciation, a subtle harbinger of the speech impediments creeping in. The confession hung heavy, a stark admission from a man whose characters often exuded unflappable cool. "I don't think anybody would blame me if I went upstairs in my bedroom, crawled under the sheets and spent the next 2 weeks crying." This raw vulnerability wasn't defeatism. It was Dane's way of humanizing ALS, stripping it of the inspirational gloss that often sanitizes such narratives. For those in similar battles, his words validate the darkness, the bone-deep fatigue, the quiet terror of mornings where limbs refuse cooperation, without romanticizing the fight. Yet, true to the tenacious spirit that propelled him from soap opera obscurity to Shondaland stardom, Dane pivoted to defiance. "I'm not about to concede my purpose for some disease. I just am not capable of doing that," he declared, his eyes, those piercing blues that once smoldered on screen, flashing with unyielding fire. ALS, a progressive affliction targeting motor neurons in the brain and spinal cord, has already curtailed his mobility, turning simple tasks like buttoning a shirt or gripping a coffee mug into Herculean labors. Muscle weakness spreads insidiously from twitching fingers to faltering gaits, culminating in paralysis that spares the mind's torment. Dane, acutely aware of this trajectory, confronts it head-on. "I'm fairly limited in what I can do physically as an actor, but I still have my brain and I still have my speech, so I'm willing to do just about anything." This pivot to possibility marks Dane's reclamation of agency. He envisions a future where ALS doesn't sideline him but redefines his craft. "I'll take on any role, but I think from here on out it's going to have to be ALS-centric," he shared pragmatically. "It's going to be very difficult for me to play any other role where you don't look at the 800-pound gorilla in the room, and I'm fine with that. I'm grateful that I can still work in any capacity." Imagine Dane channeling his lived reality into portrayals of afflicted protagonists, nuanced explorations of dignity amid decay, perhaps in indie dramas or prestige series that spotlight the overlooked. His Euphoria tenure, blending vulnerability with volatility, hints at the depth he could mine, turning personal apocalypse into universal catharsis. Dane's diagnosis thrust him into a community of warriors, Stephen Hawking's intellectual legacy, Augie Nieto's advocacy empire, yet his story is uniquely laced with Hollywood's double-edged sword. Fame afforded top-tier care, experimental trials at Cedars-Sinai, multidisciplinary teams blending neurologists and therapists, even adaptive tech like voice synthesizers for future-proofing communication. But it also amplified scrutiny, with tabloids feasting on his family's strain. Wife Rebecca Gayheart, a fellow actor and mother to their daughters Billy, 16, and Georgia, 14, navigating this alongside him. Dane credits their support as his anchor, the unseen muscles that flex when his weaken, echoing the quiet heroism of caregivers often eclipsed by the patient's spotlight. Reflecting on Grey's Anatomy's McSteamy era, where he embodied surgical swagger and romantic redemption, Dane marvels at irony. That role, a career-defining whirlwind of flings and fatalities, taught him vulnerability's power, lessons now etched in eternity. Post-Grey's, gigs in The Last Ship and Riverdale showcased his range, but ALS demands reinvention. He's eyeing voiceover work, leveraging that resonant timbre before it fades, or directing, harnessing the brain he treasures to helm stories of endurance. IAMLS.org, his platform of choice, aligns with this ethos, funneling proceeds to research that could yield breakthroughs like gene therapies or stem cell interventions, inching toward a cure for a disease that claims lives within 2 to 5 years of onset. Dane's update isn't solipsistic, it's a beacon for the 30,000 Americans living with ALS, a call to shatter stigma. By voicing the void, the no reason to be in a good spirit, he dismantles the toxic positivity that pressures patients to stay strong at all costs. Instead, he champions holistic fight, riluzole for slowing progression, physical therapy for muscle preservation, and mental health scaffolds to weather despair. His family's integration, Daughters learning sign language preemptively, Gayhart's unyielding optimism. Models communal resilience, turning isolation into interconnection. As Dane signs off, gratitude tempers grief, 4 fans outpouring for the capacity to create amid contraction. His battle, heartbreaking yet heroic, reminds us that purpose persists in frailty. In Hollywood's rearview where stars fade quietly, Eric Dane burns brighter, scripting a legacy not of loss, but defiant life, one raw update at a time.